It's time for Damn Good Marketing Podcast. I'm your host, Shelby Clement. From corporate executive to CEO to entrepreneur and the founder of Damn Good Marketing Live, this podcast is all about digital marketing, building a business you love, and creating a brand that's authentic to who you are. So if you're ready for honest, raw marketing conversations that you will not find anywhere else, let's freaking get it. Hey guys, and Merry freaking Christmas. I hope you have a freaking great day and surround yourself with the people that you love and that love you. And, you remember what this day and season is all about. But I wanted to dedicate this episode solely to the fact that it's been one hell of a year. You know the song, Parker, I don't even know his last name. It's been one hell of a year. That one, it's literally something that has just been on replay lately, if I'm being honest. And a lot of this episode, I really want to just be honest, and like it's almost like a letter to myself for the year. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you some of the tactics that Casey gave me in order to do a breakthrough of how I felt, literally. And if you know me, you know that I'm an overachiever, that yes, I might accomplish XYZ, but I'm always that person that's looking, okay, well, what's next? What are we going to do next? And, that is a flaw. Instead of sitting in the moment and saying, like, holy crap, like I have accomplished so much this year, or just in 3.5 years of business, or whatever that may look like. So for you, I want you to take a step back, and I'm going to give you some prompts in a minute because I did it, and really give yourself permission to journal on what this year of 2024 has really brought to you. What can you say like good riddance to? What can you say thank you for? And what can you really look forward to for 2025? And I'm a huge advocate for, chasing your dreams and living out your purpose. And it's scary, but it's so good when you do it. And lately I've been struggling, and I've been like, holy crap, I'm just so freaking tired. And the other day I was like, Casey, I don't know if I want to admit this, but I'm going to admit this. Like, I can't see the vision clearly. And it's because we had to go and make huge decisions in the business and the structure and where we want to go for 2025. And I will tell you this, like, the woman is smart. And she came back at me and she said, Shelby, it's okay to feel this way. And sometimes it's going to take you a minute to get your bearings straight. But I want to tell you that what we're pushing for in 2025, the reason why you are not clear yet, or that you are living in scarcity, or that you have fear, or all the things that I was feeling, which was validating, is because it's something different and it's something new. And it's what I preach to you guys all the dang time about pushing outside of your comfort zone and hitting fear head on and being okay with being scared, and but also being scared and not letting it stop you. And there was a lot of times this year, I said I'm going to burn it all to the ground. Like, what is this all worth? Um all the things. And I will say this, like, this year, 2024, was the best year I've ever had in business. And when we see the numbers and we see the growth and we see all the things that was accomplished and that was done, I was like, okay, I know why I'm tired. I know why this is. And there are decisions that are being made that it's just like, okay, how do I want to live my life in the next 5 years? Hell, the next year, whatever that may look like. And um so making these decisions, number one, is scary because the norm has been the same for so long, and we've been doing the same thing and offering the same thing and all these things. And so like it wasn't scary. And so what I did is I did a huge step back, and the other morning I woke up before everyone in our house, and it was very hard because I used to wake up super early all the time. If you've been following along for a long time, and work out every morning at 4:30. And I just got to the point where it was just like putting so much stress on me that I felt like I had to, and I didn't have to. So I stopped doing that. But the other day I got up early, and I'm really going to make that an intentional thing I do in 2025, because for that period, whether it was an hour, 30 minutes, an hour and a half, like whatever that looks like for me and maybe for you too, you get silence and you get to reflect, and you really get to either talk to Jesus, or you get to journal, or you get to listen to music, or you get to sit in silence, or you get to do like quite literally whatever you want. And so the other morning, I was listening to Casey's voice memo. It was 6 minutes, and she had sent it the night before. And I was like, okay, I want to be intentional because I know it's in this voice memo, and I want to listen to it when I can actually be clear. And so I remember sitting in my office, and I took my notebook out, and as she talked, I wrote. And it was just like, after that moment, I was like, okay, I feel better. Am I still scared? Yes. Am I still freaking out a little bit internally? Yes. Am I still all the things? Yes. But also at the same time, that's our mentality that is triggering us. And so if we can just switch it just a little bit. And so instead, I was like, no, you were born for this. You were made for this. And honestly, all I keep telling myself and even Casey and anybody I really talk to is if I fail, so what? You're not going to succeed at every single thing that you do. You're not going to have a successful launch for every single thing that you do. You're not going to have a successful event, podcast, business, whatever that looks like every single time that you launch something. And if you don't, that's okay. But that doesn't mean that you aren't qualified to do what you're trying to do. It just means that you might need to alter it a little bit. It just means that you might need to go a different route. You might need to pivot, whatever that may look like for you. And so I think I was letting the mindset of fear of failure stop me. And like that's so crazy because of like all the things that I preach, but at the same time I'm an open book to all of you because I want you to feel so relatable to me, so related to me that like I am just like you. And what you have to realize whether you are on your journey that you're more successful than me and you're listening to this or you're not and maybe you just started your journey, like we all go through these things. We're human beings, we get uncomfortable, we have fear, we have all these things that stop us dead in our tracks. Like the last couple weeks, I was like, holy crap, like I am like nauseous. I have anxiety. I have all these things. And when I finally sat down in quiet of like no kids, no employees, no clients, like needing my attention 24/7, I was able to get very clear on what I want and what the future is. And it makes me excited and like the things that we're launching. And I'm so freaking pumped about it all. And it's going to be so stinking good. So I'm going to dive in really quick on some of the prompts that Casey gave me. And then I'm also going to give you permission to do something that I did that literally made me say, holy crap, this all happened this year. And what happens is life is so fast paced and we live in a world of instant gratification and consistency and like comparison and all that stuff with like social media and like living our lives. And whether you're a mom, a wife, a friend, a husband, a business owner, someone that works for someone else, like we live such lives that are so fast paced that we forget to celebrate the small wins that we have. And those are just as important as the ones that we do remember. And if you're anything like me and you are OCD and like, I say OCD lightly, and like an overachiever, I get you. I see you because then every time I do something, I'm like, okay, well, what's next? How can I make it better? For like example, DGML, I loved it. I literally still sit in like the feeling of it, but it's like immediately like, how can I make this better? What can we do next year? Like, what can I do to really like take it up a notch? And instead of like sitting in proud and excitement, I'm always on to the next thing. So that's going to be something that I practice next year as well. So get a pen and paper if you can. If you are driving, totally do this later. But this is something really freaking good that makes you think. And it's so simple of journaling and questions. But I do think that when you look at all of these things, it helps you really put into perspective what matters and what doesn't matter. Okay, cool. Number one, guys, list your top 3 things that you're most proud of to date. So, from a business standpoint and a personal standpoint, because I'm a huge advocate for my personal life too. I'm a workaholic. I could work all the time. Truly, I'm living my dream and my passion and my purpose. And I really do believe that we do get to live this life. But if we get to live this life, why? And like I was talking to John the other day, and I was like, not everybody can go to their kids' functions, and not everybody can like go read. Like I finally signed up to go read for them last week, and it's just so amazing, and the feeling is just so great. And so I get to live this life. And so those are things that you should be really proud of with whatever you write down. And number 2 is, what are the top 3 highlights of 2024 that you want to celebrate right now? So like, what do you want to scream from the rooftops, post on Instagram, tell your best friends, like whatever the case is, what do you want to celebrate business wise, personally wise? I want you to separate it. So one for business, one for personal. Number 3 is, what do you feel the most grateful about when it comes to your business? And I'll say this, mine, I haven't really like fully dove into these questions yet. I want to get in the right mindset. And like, obviously with the holiday, everything is just buck wild and crazy. But what I want to say is this is, I'm grateful, number one, for such a very supportive husband. Like, he is absolutely freaking amazing. And anything I always say, he's like, yes, I know you could do it. You're gonna be so successful at that. Or I get advice from him on things that, like, basically everything. So like personal and business. And he's just awesome. And I'm also grateful that I get to show my kids this life and that you can live this purpose out. But the number one thing is that I have the flexibility and the freedom to be present with my family if I want that. I can travel if I want that. Like, those things are I'm super grateful for, and not everyone gets to like live in that glory. And like, what I like to say about this is, like, no matter if you are in business, you definitely understand this, is like sometimes the hardship, it isn't for the faint of heart. I've learned that. And I've always been told if you can make it through year 3, you're solid. And this year I didn't know if it was gonna kill me or not, but we made it. So yay. And it's just when you realize like what you're grateful for and what you're proud of and all the things, it puts into perspective that it's okay to have the shitty days, the stressful days, the I don't know what I'm going to do next days, because in reality, like, it's your life. You get to do whatever you want. Obviously, this is not me telling you to be crazy and like go off the rails, and financially we all need to make money. So it's not that, but it's like you have the opportunity to do something in your life that brings you joy and happiness. So definitely reflect on that. What channel of your business brings you most joy? So whatever your business may look like. So like for me, it's going to be like how to dictate like which one brings me the most joy out of the personal brand, which is speaking and podcasting and speaking on stages and DGML and the membership. Is it the management aspect of things? Like, what is it that brings me the most joy, and like what do I want to like move forward with? And then really dive deep into this one, is what are you afraid of specifically? Like, I need to know specifically what you're afraid of. And like sometimes we're so scared to tell that to ourselves or admit it out loud, and that's okay. I had a conversation with someone today and about comparison, and they felt bad because they were comparing themselves, and they were like, I'm praying for myself right now because I am feeling this way, and please pray for me to help me get over this, because we don't want to do that, and sometimes we fall short to it, and sometimes it happens, and that's okay. We're human. And so like, what are you really afraid of? Like, what specifically is holding you back from whatever it is right now? And then what would it take to do more on the things that bring you joy? So like, what does that even look like? What would it take from you to do that? Maybe start a side hustle to leave corporate, maybe hire some help, maybe really hone in on what you love and take a damn chance and risk and all that. So I just want you to like really like soak in these questions and ask yourself that as we work on this exercise together, because I think it's beautiful. And if you actually do it, I want you to send me a DM and tell me about it. I want to hear about it. If you want to share, you don't have to share everything. Um, but the next exercise that I want you to do is I want you to get a pen and paper, which you already should have, but and write down everything you did this year, like any accomplishment that you did. I started writing, and what I realized that I forgot, number one, we got 10,000 downloads on our podcast this year. Holy shit. There was like a lot of things. Did group coaching, which I'd never done in a group retreat. I got dream speakers for DGML. I got 10,000 downloads on my podcast. I went to Girlfriends in Business and met one of my very best friends, Crystal, and met Emily Sincata in person for the first time. I got paid to speak twice. That was on my vision board this year going into this one. Twice in the beginning of the year that I completely forgot about. I literally was in a mastermind with women that have completely changed my life in a year, and they have been my absolute best friends since. And I never thought that something could weigh so heavy on me, that in a good way. We did a podcast live. We got more paid speaking gigs. I developed my story in my keynote, y'all. That was like huge. I definitely like made it more suppressed and like all the things that we did this year. And like we developed a membership, something that I was against for so long. And then now I'm like, oh my God, it's the perfect thing. And I wish more people would love it and want to be in it, because I think it's just so helpful for you to be consistent and show up on social media and all the things. In my first ever webinar, I got 350 signups. Like, that's like unheard of. And I worked my tail off. Elena worked her tail off. And like, these are just like, and the list just goes on and on and on and on and on. And like, it just goes to show that sometimes you forget about the things that happen in a year when you're so bogged down with other things like stress or emotion, or it's at the end of the year and it's buck wild and crazy. And so I just want you, as I wrap up this episode, to realize that life is too short to be miserable. You get one life to live. So I want you to really reflect as we wrap up this year. And I want to allow you and give you the permission to say, it's okay if people walk out of your life. It is okay if you mess up. It is okay if you wish you could do things differently. It is okay if people have opinions of you. It is okay if you live and you learn, and you learn from anything that you've gone through. And what I've learned in this year specifically, because it was one for the books, with maybe clients that we've lost, maybe clients that we've gained, relationships we've built, friendships I've lost, business opportunities I've had, just so much, that I'm allowing myself grace and giving myself grace, because I was made to do this and I get to choose what I want to do and I get to live this life. So from me to you, I love you all so much, and I appreciate you supporting me day in and day out. And I want to support you. So make sure you hop on over to the DMs. Let me know that you listened to this. Let me know if it resonated with you. And I hope you all have a great, very Merry Christmas. And I'll see you again in the new year. And that's a wrap on another episode of Damn Good Marketing Podcast. Thank you all so much for being here. Make sure you comment, review, share it with a friend. Come back next week. And until next time, let's freaking get it.